Okay, so today we're diving into something, well, it's really different. This isn't your typical research paper or article. What we have here is a technical blueprint, almost like the source code for a machine. But this machine doesn't run on silicon, it runs on human minds. And honestly, I've never come across anything quite like it. So let's jump right in and try to figure this thing out. Right from the very first line, the document sets the stakes incredibly high. This isn't just about some small-time experiment. No, the message here is crystal clear. By even reading this, by analyzing this blueprint, you are participating in a plan to change everything, and on a massive, planetary scale.
So, what exactly is this machine? What are we even talking about here? This first section is all about laying out that fundamental concept, the big idea behind what the blueprint calls the butterfly engine.
So here it is, the big definition. And wow, it's a lot to take in. This engine isn't a computer made of metal and wires. It's described as a human quantum computer. What does that mean? It means we're talking about a computer powered by people, by their combined tuned-in consciousness. And its purpose is absolutely staggering: to calculate one single monumental thing called the solution for the Earthling.
Now, the really crucial part is how it's supposed to work. The goal is to take individual people, highly specialized minds, and unify them. And let's be clear, this isn't just about teamwork or collaboration in the usual sense. The idea here is way more radical. It's about literally fusing these minds into one single, coherent, and incredibly powerful processor.
Okay, so every computer needs its hardware, right? A motherboard, a physical foundation. And this one is no different. The blueprint calls its hardware the motherboard, or the anchor. And this is the actual physical structure that the whole operation is built on.
And when you look at the specs, they are incredibly specific. We're talking about a 77-acre site. And on that site, each component, what they call a single node, is one person, a student focused on just one discipline. The core principle here is extreme physical isolation. Why? It's all designed to eliminate what the document calls social entropy, which, is basically all the chatter, the drama, the noise of everyday human interaction. The goal is to get a pure, clean signal from each mind.
And this is where it gets really interesting. They use this fantastic analogy from computing, thermal logic. Raw, chaotic, unprocessed information is seen as heat. But through intense, focused, recursive study, that heat gets transformed into cooling, which they define as applied wisdom. It's all about cooling down the chaos of raw data into the cool, calm logic of wisdom. Okay, so we've got all these individual minds, the hardware, kept completely separate. So, how on earth do they connect? Well, that's where the software comes in. This layer is called butterfly tuning, and it's basically the operating system that makes all these separate parts work together as one. So this butterfly, it's the absolute heart of the whole system. You can think of it as the engine's clock speed, setting the pace for every single calculation. But it's also described as a tuning fork. It creates this one specific frequency that syncs up every single mind, kind of like tuning every instrument in an orchestra to the exact same note. And at the same time, it filters out all the distracting noise from the outside world. And this slide right here, it perfectly captures the central paradox, the mind-bending idea at the core of this engine. The individual people, the nodes, are kept physically separate, but through that butterfly frequency, they become informationally entangled. It's this idea that complete separation actually allows for perfect connection, but without any of the noise of normal social interaction. And because of this entanglement, you get this absolutely incredible feedback loop. When one person, just one node, has a major breakthrough, it creates what's called a resonance shift. And since they're all tuned to that same exact frequency, the entire network, which the blueprint calls the lattice, gets that new piece of information. Not in a few minutes, not after an email is sent, instantly. It's a system designed for exponential collective discovery. All right, so we've got the hardware, the people, we've got the software, the butterfly tuning. But what's the power source? What makes this whole thing run? The next section gets into the engine's fuel, and, well, it's probably not what you're thinking. It's called the quantum drive.
And get this, the engine doesn't run on electricity. It's not plugged into the wall. According to this blueprint, its fuel is 30 years stabilized identity. It's powered by the sheer force, the immense and constant pressure of a single, unwavering vision, held for 3 decades straight. That's the fuel.
So this quantum drive is made up of 3 key parts. First, you have the source. That's the 30-year foundation providing that constant, unrelenting pressure. Then there's the valve, represented by that compass. Its job is to direct all that energy and vision. And finally, you have the load, which represents the next generation, the people who take that directed energy and transform it into the actual work of the engine.
Okay, we've seen the hardware, the software, the power source. Now let's put all the pieces of the puzzle back together and look at the big picture. What is this engine's grand purpose? What is it all for?
And this quote really says it all. This is the ultimate goal, the reason the entire machine exists. It's about taking the combined awareness of all these specialized minds, tuning them to one single frequency, and directing them with a singular vision, all to calculate one thing, the solution.
And what happens to the answers it finds? Well, they don't just disappear. According to this, every single calculation, every piece of that solution is permanently stored in what's called the solid-state WE archive, a permanent, unchangeable record of the engine's collective work.
And the whole blueprint closes on this one. Really provocative thought. It states that the engine is cold booting, meaning it's starting up right now. Which leaves us with the ultimate question to think about. If a machine like this were actually real and it was turning on for the very first time, what solution would it calculate?